with regards to her views. Ma'am Naela, as we know, the American politics and how the voters' sentiment shaped up, it mainly focused on the domestic factors with regards to American politics. This time we know America had witnessed its own version of the Arab Spring with regards to the university protests. And we know the American Muslims, they are going to be considering foreign policy as a major weight in deciding who they're going to be voting for as well. What's your analysis on the whole situation, and how would you comment on this issue of foreign policy having weight in these elections, because it's not, as we're seeing, orthodox in American elections?
Well, I tend to agree with Rubina Sarwar that either of the candidates, there are certain issues on which there is a bipartisan support. For example, Israel. Neither the Democrats nor the Republicans are going to change their foreign policy vis-a-vis Israel. Consequently, the situation of Palestine is not going to improve in this way. So I agree that those who expect that either or of the candidates will make any changes in it, it's unlikely. The other things that need to be considered are the wars, like Ukraine war. Trump has said that he would stop Ukraine war. That has created tremors in EU countries, because Trump also does not support NATO. So the collective security concept that evolved in Europe in alliance with the United States of America would be, not a sure situation. Climate change. Now, Pakistan and USA have a collaboration during the Biden government that it's called Green Umbrella, in which they were giving us support for the climate change victims.
Right.
It's unlikely that in case Mr. Trump comes, that would continue. Similarly, when it comes to defense aid, because Trump says he's against war, against supporting defense and all that, it's unlikely that that aid will continue. Then if you talk about tariffs, then again, your major, export destination is United States. So your exports will be affected. So as far as Pakistan is concerned, I think we have to look at it very carefully. And there are pros and cons in both sides. It's important to further strengthen our relations with United States, and after the elections and post, electoral college decision, we will know in January who the head of the state will be, and let's keep our fingers crossed.
Right, and Ms. Naela, as you talked about a lot of points, do you think there's the approach both the candidates are going to be having with regards to the international trade as well? As we know, there's two major powers in the world with regards to being the economic powers. Do you think there's going to be a change of approach between both the two when they go for economy and trade activities?
Definitely, there will be an impact on that. WTO is an important body, but if during former Trump regime they had more protectionist approach, if they continue with it in case he is re-elected, that will be detrimental to world trade. In Pakistan's context, definitely. As far as the Biden government is concerned, they are not as protectionist, but of course they too have their reservations. And then the China-USA rivalry, that also we have to see how it will play, because you remember Nancy Pelosi had gone to Taiwan, and subsequently, although USA states that they believe in one China policy, but they also have strategic ambiguity when it comes to their policy towards China. So that will also have impact on the region, on BRI, on how the regional countries work together for economic cooperation.
Right, definitely. I'd like to include Dr. Munawar Hussain in the conversation as well. As firstly, I'd like to thank you for waiting so patiently. Secondly, when we talk about the American elections, of course, as Ms. Naela also mentioned, and as we've also been seeing globally, as in seen in the UK elections as well, there's the political trends in different countries. They're changing now in this modern era. How would you comment on all this situation, this dynamism that we're seeing in the political atmospheres, and not just in one country, but throughout the world, and specifically with regards to the US?
As far as West is concerned, the new trend that I am observing is a declining democracy. And I'm not saying this. There is a very famous book written by Noam Chomsky, Who Rules the World, published in 2016. He believes that since 1945, democracy in America and the West is in a declining position. And the major argument that he has given is that the lower cadre of society has no say in policy making. Because the basic assumption of democracy is that people through vote, they take part in policy making. Now, who makes the policy? The powerful person. For instance, in the case of electoral politics in the United States of America, Elon Musk is financing President Trump, and another very powerful person who is the Honor Bill Gates. He is financing the Democrats' candidate, you see. So therefore, the powerful segment in American society is playing the shot, and they are taking part in the policy making. One, traditionally, if you see, American society never gave a vote to the woman candidate as a president, because American society is a traditional society, especially their villages. I'm not talking about the metropolitan cities. An example is that Hillary Clinton was very powerful and very popular political leader, but she could not be the president. Second important trend was that they never gave vote to the party who remains in power, because they believe that for longer period of time, if you are in power, you would be corrupt. Except if you have an extraordinary performance, like in the case of Bill Clinton, he developed American economy, he started the process of globalization, he left positive budget reserves. And for the first time it happened in the history of, similarly President Reagan, because he won the Cold War, and Obama, because he bridged the gap between the Muslim world and the Western world, so therefore they got chosen again. Third important trend is that domestic issues always got the priority in the American electoral politics, whether it is immigration, inflation, healthcare, abortion, so on and so forth. Fourth, that always Americans, they give preference to the Anglo-Saxon race because of their manifest destiny and Darwinian theory. I would not go into detail, but I'm just giving some clues. Fifth, Democrats always has a more chance to have a presidency than the Republicans. If you see, out of 46 presidents, 27 times Democrats, they won the seat, and only 19 times Republicans, they got the seat. Last, the religious vote. Now, Catholics, they have 5 crore, 20 lakh registered vote. And since President Trump is conservative, so, I mean, this is the traditional trends. But what is changed in the trend? Number one, women card. And the women card is very important, and they are in favor of Kamala Harris. So it may bring a change, one. Second, new voters, which is about 8 million, and usually they are immigrants, new immigrants, and they are settled in the swing states. Third, youth vote, which is about 42 million.
Dr. Munawar, exactly as you mentioned the youth, there was one question that was coming to my mind, and sorry for cutting you here, but do you think internet, and we know in this era, this digital era, artificial intelligence, it is dominating in all spheres of life, and do you think this inclusion in the poll surveys and these social media trends, the internet having a lot of weight on voter sentiments and trends, do you think it is dangerous or could prove to be dangerous for democracy, as algorithms, we know that the kind of content that we see once, it starts supporting and suggesting us similar content. Do you think in these times of artificial intelligence, algorithms and data, the internet could prove dangerous for democracy?
A very, very sensitive question, frankly speaking. We find a common trend in democracies, the popular politics. In the case of Modi India, you observed the role of the social media, and Modi exploited it, which is known as a Goody media. But now question is, did Modi successful in getting 400 plus seats?
No.
Up ki par, 400 par? They failed. So therefore now, what is problem in America? The flood in North Carolina and Florida, the war in Gaza, and the war in Ukraine, where America spent something like $196 billion. And similarly, the declining American economic position, which is $37 trillion, America is under debt, which is 26% of their GDP. 8 million American people, they have went below the poverty line. 18 million can't afford health care. And half of the population, they can't give the mortgage to their shelters. These are the issues due to which I fear that Democrats would have a chance to come into power. So these are different trends. And one more is popular politics. This is very important thing, because America, popular politics is always based on sensitivities of the people and the sense of deprivations. The issues which are in American society at this moment, which I mentioned earlier, and the powerful segment in American society. I gave example of Bill Gates and Elon Musk.
Yes.
So these are trending, you see, changing trends in American politics. The challenge, the serious challenge to American political system is this political system has redundant now, because the candidates that it has offered are not the public choice. One. Second, I believe that first time in the history of American electoral politics, the election commission is questioned, and the mindset are prepared that, look, if President Trump would not win, it means there is it would be rigged elections, and that would create instability in America. And I fear what happened in 2020 when Capitol Hill was attacked. So this can be repeated again, and there would be instability in America. And another challenge that I believe that American society is polarized now. It is no more cohesive. It is divided into colored, Anglo-Saxon people, liberals and conservatives, Arabs and non-Arabs, Muslims and Christians. So it is for the first time which I am observing in American society that it is divided. It is not like a salad bowl in the past.
Yeah, definitely. Dr. Munawar, that's of course, very crucial challenges that you raised, and of course these are the challenges that are being seen from the offset as well with regards to this election in particular. Ms. Meena Server, as we're running short on time as well, quickly coming towards you, the swing states, the key swing states as the battleground states and the undecided voters, as all the analysts are pointing towards them. What's your take on that? Who's going to be wooing these undecided voters and these key swing states?
Well, thank you, yes, for that question. And I want to just say that I really appreciate the previous two speakers, spoke a lot of sense and gave a lot of really important information. And I completely agree that the social media aspect is changing algorithms and all. But to come to your question about swing states, I can't, who can say who will win? Because like Munawar Hussain Saab pointed out, the polls tell a different story. We saw what happened in India. They did, the voters defied the polls. And that might happen this time. And as Mr. Munawar Hussain pointed out, the new voters and the youth voters are going to make a decisive difference. There is also an initiative that I just came across today about the swing states. It's called Swap Your Vote. And some people have come up with this idea, which has been going on for some weeks now, but I only heard about it today, in which what they're doing is they're saying that this two-party system is ruining America. It has not giving us good options, but we know that a third party can't really come in. And so what they're doing is that they're saying that they're connecting voters in states which are, like pakka for them, like say the democratic states, and they're saying that you can if you vote for the Democrats, if you vote for the Democrats in a swing state, I will vote for a third party candidate of your choice in my state, which is going to go Democratic anyway. So that is a novel way of doing that. And I also want to say that this the fear of violence after the elections is very real. The January 6th insurrection, nobody can forget that. It reminds me actually what happened on May 9th in Pakistan 2023, where people refused to accept what's the process. And so it's a very, very difficult situation right now.
Well, of course, democracy is a beautiful process, but incorporating violence into democracy should be shunned everywhere in the world.
Exactly.
Ms. Naela Chohan, I'd like your comments as well when it's coming down to the swing states and the undecided voters. How would you comment on the swing states, and of course, how do you think who's going to have a better chance at wooing those voters?
At this moment, it's difficult to say. The voting has started, and swing states are swing states.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is that the population there has a lot of Muslims, a lot of Arabs, even Pakistani. So how are they going to vote? I think the preceding speakers have given good, view of that. At this moment, if you see how it is going, I think that perhaps Democrats are focusing on areas that Republicans did not, like the women's vote, like abortion issues. They are basically working on areas where Republicans were not very clear. So it's really difficult to say how it's going to go.
Right. Welcome, Nawarusen. Concluding remarks. Of course, the polling has started. People are casting their ballots. Your concluding comments.
I would say three swing states are very important. One, Georgia, because it has 11 electoral votes. Second, North Carolina, because of the flood, and traditionally it remains in favor of Republicans. Only 2 times Republicans defeated here, 1976, 2008. And third one is Nevada, because for 40 years it remained a red state. And last one is Michigan, because of Muslim and the Arab vote. And interestingly, one mayor of the Michigan, he joined President Trump, but his 2 councillors, they are supporting Democrats. So very interesting situation.
Right, definitely a lot of interesting things that we're seeing in this election, and of course the change in American politics trends, the different aspects with regards to internet, social media, and of course how we're seeing the American society polarized at the moment. And there's so much going on in America that this makes this election very interesting. With that, I'd like to thank all of our guests, Ms. Naela Chohan, former ambassador, Dr. Munawar Hussain, foreign affairs expert, and Bina Server, editor at Sapan News Network. Thank you all for your time and being part of this conversation. Of course, what happens, and the Americans are at the polling stations, they are casting their ballots, but the developments are to unfold, and we'll keep you updated. See you same time tomorrow. Till then, take care.